That's an interesting question. I think Admiral Nama will be better placed to answer that, but let me give you my two bits worth. The first thing is that the first few aircraft carriers that came to us, they were British made. And therefore, it carried certain symbols there which the British Navy had used. I mean, the Vikrant was British made, the Virat was British made, and only Vikramaditya was Groshkov of Russian make. So, it was one of those things that had sort of carried on because it was there. I mean, there are, General Malik will bear me out on this, there were a lot of crests of the Indian Army that we inherited after independence. And many of those crests had the British crown, and that was replaced by the Ashoka on top of it. So a little bit of modification was done because for the men in uniform, the crest has a great symbolism. Earlier generations have died to stand up for the crest. So to play with it, you need to have a certain amount of thought and a logic to counter it. The second thing is that Vikrant, the name that has come to be of the current aircraft carrier, is a salute to the earlier namesake, which was sentimentally very important for the Navy, because it was, the Navy's finest moment since independence was the 71 war, where the Vikrant incidentally was not used for the bombing of Karachi, but was moved against the advice of a lot of other admirals by Admiral Nanda, the then tough chief of the Navy, and shifted to the Bay of Bengal and hidden in the Andaman's waters. So when Enterprise and the US 7th Fleet came to threaten us not to take the surrender of the Pakistan Army in East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, the Vikrant emerged from the woods in the Andamans and suddenly blocked the way. And I have met pilots who served on the Vikrant in the 71 war, and they had all sworn to a kamikaze mission to fly into the Enterprise and blow it up in the Bay of Bengal if it stopped that India achieving that high point of the 71 war. So the Navy has a lot of sentimental attachment to various incidents and historical, some people might call it baggage, but I give it a lot of importance because you don't have history, then you're not really worth your name and your salt that you claim to be. Now, the last point that I wish to make about the Vikrant, and General Malik had made it very strongly, the Navy is the only service amongst the three armed forces that really looks at designing its own equipment and has done it for decades. And it's way ahead of the Air Force and, of course, miles ahead of the Army, because the Navy has put into it. So when you can design your own stuff, your dependency obviously reduces from outside. So Atmanirbhar Bharat was something the Navy had adopted decades ago. And a term has come to play now, but the reality is that the Navy has been working on this. And it's not just this one. We have a nuclear submarine that the Navy is also close to putting into play. How many countries in the world, can hope to make an aircraft carrier or a nuclear submarine and give the kind of messages of its technology? Remember, when you deny technology, then you get your people to go beyond the call and produce technology. The missile and satellite achievements of India are cases in point, that when you can't buy it from outside, and many countries don't give it. Look at what the Americans and the Australians have done with the AUKUS. They've decided to make a nuclear submarine because the Americans are supporting them. I believe the Americans are now talking to the French to support us with a nuclear submarine program, because the French have been selling us submarines in the past. So the world is waking up. It's not giving us handouts. It's just that we are up to speed. You just help us where some of the areas we need technology. For instance, on the aircraft carrier, there are two types of technology that are used to throw the jets into the air. The runway is not very big. It's not like your Padam runway or anything. It's a much smaller runway. And so therefore it has to speed up. And if you see the aircraft carrier, the body goes upwards because it launches the jet into the air. Now you can have a catapult system or you can have the EMOL system. The Americans are pushing, some companies, General Atomics, are pushing for EMOLs, but the Chinese have used EMOLs, but nobody knows for sure whether it'll work, because it only works well on a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, not on a regular one that we have. So we are pretty good. Now the debate is about what aircraft to buy for the aircraft carrier. Admiral Namba would know the secrets. I don't want to let them out in public. But the fact of the matter is there are three in running. There's the Rafale Maritime, there is the F-18, the American ones that the Americans want, the mother of all deals even now. And the HAL might just come up with a Tejas Maritime version. MiG-29s are there, but they're on their way out. So the aircraft carrier is going to have some state-of-the-art technology. It's going to convey that India will produce world-class stuff, and India is prepared to spend on its security and not be on a security holiday like Europe was till Russia came knocking.